this tutorial, I'm going to take a look at the blog-related pages and make them look more like my homepage. So this is now my landing page. Doesn't that look pretty? When I jump over to all stories, that's the page that lists all of my blog posts. And so it doesn't look at all the same. And when I click on an individual blog post, what you see is this, which also doesn't look at all the same. So what I want to do is go and edit these. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to jump into the template editor and take a look at our front page, which is the one that we've configured already. And let's take a look at some of the settings we have. So let's start with this. So we go over here and we can see that the header is the Cali header, which we've set up nicely. Then we have a group. And what does this group have? First of all, it's got the layout, inner blocks, use content width. That's important. It has, if I search down here, it's got two styles that I've created. One is called gray background, which gives me the background color I want. And the other one's called underlap. That's what I use to get that. Okay, so let's jump back here to the main page. That's how I get this little, the logo overlapping the gray here, is using that's a little bit of CSS trickery. So jumping back over to here, now I see that I've done that. What else have I done in here? So within the group, I have my post feature image, and then I have my post content. The group settings also, there is a setting. So we go over to styles here and we can see that I have set it so that it has a padding of 1. I'm going to write this down so I don't lose it. Padding of top 1 and margin top 1 and bottom 2. That gets things to look how I want them to look. And then after that, there's a spacer. So a small spacer, which is currently set at 31 pixels. Let's just make that a nice even 25 pixels just to make it a nice number. So it's got a 25 pixel spacer before the footer. And the spacer is within the group. Why does that matter? Because if it's in the group, it means that the spacer is providing this space here. So let's now jump over to our page that we want to edit. So the page that affects this page, the all stories page, is what's called the home page. I know, dumb name, but it's called the home page. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over here to click here, and then we're going to go from the front page over to the home page. And you can see it's got that mind-blown title, which is hard-coded in here. Once I click over, I can see that it's using the default header and not the header that I want. So the first thing I'm going to do is remove this header. And then I'm going to click add, and I'm going to add a header that is called Kelly header. That is my header. Now it should be added. Now it's here, but it's at the bottom. So you can see if I scroll down to the bottom, there's the Kelly header. So now we're just going to pop it up to the top. There we go. So now it's up at the top. The next thing we had were some of those groupings, right? How did we set those groupings that we wanted to be different? So we noticed that we have the inner block. What else did we have in here? We had under advanced, we had set it to be additional CSS, gray background, and overlay, underlap. And we had some style settings. What were the style settings? Well, we had a padding top of 1. And we had a margin top of 1 and a margin bottom of 2. So let's start there. Now let's see what all stories looks like. Okay, well, we fixed the top thing. We've got this nicely. Now we've got this title. I don't like that title. It is a hard-coded title, and I want to have something different there. So what am I going to do here? It's a hard-coded title. We can see it in here. So heading 1, first of all, I want to center align it. I want to change the size of it. It's too big. So if I look at, it's currently extra large, I believe. I know that looks like it made it smaller. So let's see. And let's call it what? What is it? It's a dog's blog about life in Nova Scotia. A dog's blog about life in Nova Scotia. Looks great. Now what? Now I need to, this is the same size as that, and I'm not, sure, that's fine. There's too much space here. I want to get rid of some of that space. Well, where's that space coming from? So if I look here, the next thing is the query loop. Does the query loop have any spacing associated with it? Not really. It doesn't have a styles pane, so I can't really do much with it. Here it is. This probably has a bottom associated. Oh, look at that. Let's move that. And how does that look now? There we go. Got rid of a lot of that spacing. And now we look much better. Now I want to add some spacing on the edges. And so I want to add some spacing to the edges. This would actually be in the group. And I go back to my spacing and I want to create some left and right padding. Little padding on the left and the right. And we back over here and we say, what does that look like? I moved it over a little bit. That's good. I like that. Now, I like the feature image. That's good. The title. This is too big. So I need to make this smaller. What am I going to do? I'm going to go over here and I'm going to go over to style. Yeah, we're going to make that a medium. We'll make it a little smaller. Then we have the expert and then we have the date. But I actually want the date before the excerpt. So what am I going to do? I'm going to pop the date up here. So it's title date. Let's see that. Let's see how that looks. Okay, so now that text is too small. The date and then the text is fine. And then there's a fair bit of space between the next round. So let's pop over here again. The title was too small. So, it's because it's an H2. So it can be an H2, but it can be an H2 that's large. There we go. Now, there's a whole bunch of stuff down here that I don't want down here. How do I get rid of that? So now I come back over here, and I notice that there's this spacer. If I scroll down here, there's a spacer. I don't need that, so that spacer's okay. And the pagination is okay. It's this spacer, so we're going to remove this spacer. Yep. Scroll down, remove the spacer. And I'm going to remove this column block because I don't like it. So we're just going to remove those columns. And now we can save one more time. You can see I do a lot of saves and then I just click over and I reload to see, that looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. Now let's look at a single page. And you can see that I have the default going on here in the single page, which I don't particularly like. So let's make that change. So we would start by clicking Edit Site. And in this case, we are going to the template called Single. And I'm going to edit it here. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to fix the header like we have for all of the others. So we'll start with a plus and we're going to add in the Cali header. Okay, and we can delete the existing header. We don't need it. Now, let's take this group and let's fix a few things associated with this group. The group, to use the inner layout, the inner thickness, as we had before. Then we also had, in the advanced, we had our gray background and our underlap. As those two things. We also had some settings over here. So we had padding. We added a 5 top padding and a 1 margin and a 2 bottom padding. So let's just start there. And let's redo this guy here. Okay, a couple things. Well, we fixed a bunch of things, but this guy's sort of out in left field. Let's remove that group. Okay, now if I remove that group, come over here and I do a reload. Okay, great, except I don't have my feature image anymore, nor my title. I just have the post. So let's go back and re-add in here. So we go into my group and I'm going to add in my feature image. And I'm going to add in my title. And I actually want the date as well, the post date. Now I want these all to be within my group. So we're going to go here, and then a title, and a date, and then a contents. So let's save all of those things. Okay, so we have our thing. Now I'm finding this pretty big, right? I don't need my text to be quite so big. And then we come down, we have some weird stuff here, some comments, and leave a reply. Okay, so let's go back into here and let's take a look at post meta. We decided we don't want this anymore. I don't need the meta. So I'm going to remove the post meta. What I would like, however, is the ability to go previous and next. And I have that as a navigation, as a previous. I have a prev next thing that I created. Oh, and I have that there so that people can go to the post and the next. And then what do we have? Then we have this, leave a reply, and then the end. Okay, so let's see how that looks now. Oh, I didn't fix the size of that. I meant to fix the size of that. Let's fix the size of that. So we'll go back over here and we're going to go to our title. Our title is way too big. So go to our title, we go to block, and we go style, and we bring it back to Excel, and we do save, save. And we come back over here and we do this. And you can see this, that the size of that's better. You've got the date, you've got your text. There happens to be an image in the text. That's all fine. We've got this previous and next. And then we've got our comments. I actually don't like the word previous and next. I don't think it needs to say previous and next. It can just have the icons, the things. So let's jump back and do that. Let's fix that. So we go into previous and next. Go here. And it's actually in each of these. So I go here. Let's see how that looks now.